Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once? I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just up? I went to a shrink to analyze my dreams. She says it's like a sex that's bringing me down. I went to a whore. He said my life's a bore. She'll quit my white cause it's bringing her down. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up.
All right. Welcome to No Bad Ideas. I've always believed in the realm of responsibility. There's no such thing as a bad idea. It's just a matter of trying, failing, and figuring out what works. And realistically, this entire platform of my channel has been my playground for that. And before kind of getting into the next chapter of where we're taking everything, I just wanted to do a little bit of a history of just why this channel started and everything along those lines. So let's actually just go back to where everything started here. So it actually started with this channel right here, the No Bad Days production/management channel. This was when I was really deep into music, production, recording, writing music. And this channel is kind of like my way to document it, right? At this time in my life, I was on my way to a music school. I was really passionate about music, and I really wanted to get into the more business side of things. So realistically, looking back at this channel, it was pretty chaotic, realistically, right? Very messy in a sense, but it's something that everyone has always got to start with the beginning on their journey, in a sense, right? So this is kind of like the origin stories of the No Bad, names in a sense. So as you can see on the channel here, my friend Nathan here, he's the one that was Wall Candy Blackrock. He sent me the song to put on the channel. And that's kind of how it went. I went to a lot of my musician friends and they would give me songs that haven't maybe necessarily been released yet. And then I would release it on the channel. And that's kind of like the direction I wanted to go, just within the scope of what I could have handled in a sense, right? I was 18 at the time here. So yeah, this is pretty much the origin stories of the channel in a sense, right? Eventually life pulled me in a different direction. I went to business school and I started thinking about projects maybe that were a little bit bigger than me in a sense, right? So I had a change of aspirations when it came into music. I wanted to be a little bit more focused on the public. When I was in school there, we did a big fundraiser. This was the very first episode we ever released on the channel, titled No Bad Ideas. There isn't a cool origin story on why we called it No Bad Ideas. I think it was just one of those things where it was just very simple. I think when I was creating the channel, it was just no bad, and No Bad Ideas came along. So the very first video, there wasn't even an actual behind the scenes of why we wanted to create this video. It just felt very authentic and natural that I wanted to do it. It was just hey, we're doing a fundraiser for mental health. The best way to help spread awareness is to also post it on social media. And that is why we created this video. That's why we did a big fundraiser project, and it was a pay what you can. So some people would come in, everything was donated to. You can watch the video for actually all the details on it in a sense, but it's something I'm still very proud of. And I don't look back and, cringe or anything, kind of like what I do on the next steps of the YouTube channel here. But I think it's just because of how authentic this upload was. But looking back at it, you can tell my production skills were very little. I'm pretty sure I did all the editing on this on a tablet, and I was just using whatever pre-downloaded software that was on it. Still though, looking back on this was the very first video we uploaded to the channel, and it's still something I'm extremely proud of. Even going through it all, right? Like looking back on who I was during the filming of this. Wow, did I look like a baby in here? Holy, this was almost 7 years ago though. So looking back at it, this was the very first video I uploaded to the YouTube channel, No Bad Ideas. Still something I'm very proud of, and like I said, the thing I'm really proud of for this one is just how authentic this upload was and the creativity behind it. That was uploaded, like I said, almost 7 years ago, and then after that, I was really just focused on school, just graduating, developing a career, and then about a year later, we got into podcasting. And yes, I will be the first one to say at that time, everybody in their extended family had a podcast. I still had a blast with the podcast, but yeah, I jumped in and I really just wanted to build an audience for a sense. And if you really look back at the channel, you know, we had over 25 episodes, 23 of them are public. That's where I actually built, you know, 70-80% of our subscribers and viewers was from the podcast that we have. And looking back at it, there is two moments that I do really want to highlight just for some fun behind the scenes in a sense. Going into episode 2 here, which is JD Lewis, by the way, having JD come in for episode 2 really helped boost the channel a lot when it came into, you know, in a sense, like credibility, right? I love that intro, by the way. Like I said, this was episode 2, so I had no idea what to do when it came into like audio, software, anything like that. I was unbelievably green for it. I want to say, actually, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes into this episode. My friend Zach, who is behind the camera, watching the, you know, audio and everything like that, he just says, everyone stop. Something went wrong, something's not recording, XYZ. And yes, of course, my luck, and of course that we had, by the way, JD is the most normal human being out there, like so normal. But for me, I'm a little bit like, you know, starstruck in the sense, right? I was just like, hey, we have JD Lewis on. I want to make sure everything goes perfect. So he didn't take anything about it. There, I was like, all right, stop. We have to redo everything. And this is at the time where I'm still doing introductions on the YouTube channel. So for here, I do like, and this is take 2, remember, of like about, you know, almost 10 minutes of a conversation. So
hello. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thought about sauntering in like the Joker with the smoke in my mouth.
So he does like the take 2, he does so verbatim the first one. I was mind blown about how professional this guy is, right? Because for me, I'm doing the my take 2. I barely remember the take 1. I don't know if it was better or for worse, but it wasn't the same, I can tell you that. And JD is such a professional. He just comes in and nails everything on the take 2, just like I did the take 1. I don't know, that's just one little fun behind the scenes that I really like that. We're looking at a redo, 10 minutes, completely doing it again. So that's a little fun behind the scenes for that episode. If I did want to highlight another episode that I am extremely proud of, for a couple things, I would say the Mike Sands episode, right? It was just such a genuine conversation. It was the very first time that I didn't have any questions prepared for a guest. I was like, I know Mike pretty well. We should be able to have a great podcast without preparing anything. And it's just so genuine. But looking back at this, and I mean this like to all respect of my former self, I don't even recognize that guy. Like I'm not ashamed whatsoever, but holy was I so cringe. And then I had this idea to do a super overproduced podcast intro. And the only reason is because I had After Effects and I started learning a thing or two on that. So many weird variations of this podcast by keeping it more simple, not keeping it simple, overproduction. Such a weird journey this podcast went through. But no shade to any other guests. I had so many incredible conversations on this. And the last thing that I want to bring up real quick with this Mike Sands one is this was the very first episode that we did a segment called What's in the Box. It was actually the first time we brought a segment onto the podcast. And thank you to Mike. It went so incredible. We did the segment quite a bit until one guest, it did not go well at all. Something that I can maybe talk about in the future or something like that. And it didn't go bad like a animosity way, right? But or like a, we didn't get into like an argument or anything, right? Yes, I am going to clickbait everybody there. If you want to see what the gag was or anything, please watch the episode of Mike Sands there, because it was so good. You can tell I'm just dying laughing. I thought this was the most incredible thing ever. It was kind of funny, I guess, whatever. Continuing on, the bulk of the channel in a sense, right? This was all within the year of 2020. So 5 years ago, almost 6 in a sense, right? So the last episode released was October 17th, 2020. And that was with Nate Reno, an episode that I'm still very proud of. Everyone kind of knows what happened after that in 2020. I actually have to be a little bit careful with my words because YouTube will categorize you if you say a couple specific words in that, and they will smite you down and the algorithm will suppress you. So I can't say any of that stuff. But everyone should have a good idea of what happened actually. So when all that went down, just with the world in a sense, right? The podcast shut down. Couldn't have any guests over. So 5 years off of YouTube, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life in a sense, right? I really used that time to just work extremely hard and not in the public doing any of that, right? Professional development, career advancement, physical development. I really just changed who I was, and I couldn't be more proud of all the decisions I have. And realistically, that's the big reason why you didn't see any uploads for 5 years, just because it wasn't authentic. There's some times where I was thinking about maybe doing an upload or trying to find an avenue of which way to create a video to do an upload, but at the end of the day, I said, when it comes unbelievably natural, then I know what to do with this channel. If I don't upload anything ever again, I'm okay with that. So I'm very happy about where this channel is today and where it's going to be for the next year. Because realistically, like, I'm back and I'm more fired up than ever for this. The last 2 episodes is kind of what to expect in a sense for the future of this channel. A little behind the scenes about that though. Believe it or not, there is a team behind No Bad Ideas, and my advisor is the one that really came up with the thumbnail and the name for episode 1 there. And I wasn't like completely against it, but the one that I wanted, the title that I had, I was like, this feels a little bit. I like the outcome of it, but I was just like a little bit like I wasn't loving it. And he just mentioned, like, and not to get into the SEO YouTube jargon of everything. He said, Damien, this is going to work out really well, I promise you. And he was right. Even like today is November 10th. The last 2 weeks, I've been averaging 50 views per day on that video, which is crazy to think about because that video came out, almost 3 months ago in a sense. So just a little bit behind the scenes about that. So why are we doing this video? Full transparency, a little bit of data analytics, the algorithm in a sense too. But I also thought it was just like a really good idea to just kind of explain behind No Bad Ideas of just the history of the channel, kind of where it's come to and what's going to lead into 2026 here. So at the end of the day, even reviewing everything, this channel is myself, a triathlete, a creator, someone who wants to connect with people through authentic storytelling and a little chaos, obviously. And that's exactly what this channel is going to be about. It's not just going to be specifically about Ironman or music or podcasts. It's about exploring everything that is meaningful to me and sharing it with everybody else. Oh, and the next chapter, it starts now. Bigger ideas, new projects, more experiments, and of course, more chaos. Oh, do I do it? I think I probably should. No bad. Oh, please tell me I'm not even recording. That's okay. Oh, f off. Oh no, why am I doing this video? What am I gonna say? Wait. Wants to connect with people through authenticity.